Welcome back to 3D Drawing for Your Model Railway, and we're going to continue on with the long welded rail train we've been working on. So today's episode, what I'm looking to do is we're going to look at the guide rail that goes across between the two wagons, so the gantry crane could go along the full length of the train. I've got obviously the photos that we've been supplied by Paul and Ernie, and I've also got some diagrams that Paul's measured up from the actual thing that we can work for the measurements. Obviously, I can't share them. I haven't got a scanner to be able to scan these diagrams in or any other way of getting them in. So we'll just work through them. So if you just follow along with the measurements, you'll be able to keep up absolutely fine with them. So the first thing I'm going to draw are these little mounting points, and they're the same on both sides. So this one obviously has got the rail positioned into it, and then the other side, the little locking pin would fit in on this end. These are all measured on Paul's diagrams as well, so I'm just going to be working from those. So because they're the same on both sides of the wagon, I'm just going to go back in the history to beyond the mirror points that we've done, and then we can obviously work along from that point onwards. I'm just going to click on the position, go to roll history marker here. That's the wrong mirror point. So that one we want. So we've got the quarter of the wagon here. So we're going to start drawing in this position in the end here. So going to draw a side on. So I'm going to draw on the side of the face here, and we're going to start by drawing a rectangle. I'm going to come up. The height of the guide isn't measured, but you can see it's about halfway up the rail. So I'm going to snap to this corner by I'm not clicking anything, I'm just snapping to that corner, coming up about halfway up the rail, coming out and down. Okay, so we can define the height of that. I'm going to go for 0.5 millimeters. And he hasn't measured coming out, unfortunately, or it's not on the diagram. Looks like a couple of inches. So I'm going to go 0.6 millimeters. Actually, 0.5, just a little bit smaller. Okay, so the overall height of it is 11 inches. So we'll do 11 inches divided by 1.8. That gives us the height. And then on the bottom, show you sideways, there's a little cut out piece here. That's 3 inches up. So let's put it all the way back in. It does. So we can go from the bottom corner. I'm just going to come out slightly though. I'm going to define the distance there, just to give us a little bit of gap, 0.1. And the position from the bottom to this point is 3 inches. So again, define that. 3 inches divided by 1.8. Okay. Let's snap to there, so that should be fine. So if we coincidence that to that point, it should lock that. Okay, so we've got that. No. Total from the width of it is 4¼ inches. So we can take this, extrude it across the wagon, and it's 4.25 inches minus 4.25 inches divided by 1.8. Okay, and that puts it into position. It's pretty much right next to that buffer, which, yeah, it's slightly off, but I'm going to be living with that. Okay, so it's got a little cutout in there, and for that I'm going to draw on the front face of it. I'm going to slice through so we get rid of the buffer there. I'm going to draw a rectangle, and the height of the cutout is pretty much where the top of the chassis is. So I'm going to project on height of the chassis, and then we're going to do a rectangle, snap into that position, coming down to below the height of the bracket we've just drawn. I'm going to define the width on each side as 0.2. And then select these two parts, and I'm going to extrude that to the buffer bin. Let it cut, and we've got that recessed area. Okay, and then it's got a small circle in the inside, so we're just going to draw on the bottom, find the midpoint of it like that, and we'll do 0.3mm in diameter, and extrude that all the way through to the top, so we've got a hole that goes all the way through. Okay, so I'm not entirely happy with the position of what we've just drawn there, so I'm just going to alter some things, and that's going to include moving the buffer across, so this part isn't touching when we move, because I want to move this whole bracket in slightly. So I'm going to move the buffer across first of all, so I'm just going to edit that sketch. So I've just selected the surface that I'm drawing on, so let me show you. So to find out where the buffer is in the history, if you select it, it will put these little lines above where the extrusion is. I'm going to come back into the sketch. I'm just going to edit that. I'm going to move it inboard. So 2mm. Let's go 0.5mm. We might throw some errors up here that we've got to go back in and change, but we'll combat those if I need to. Okay, it's coming across so fine. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to split the body, splitting tool on the end here. That's going to take the buffer and the unit off there. And then I'm going to move the little bracket. I'm going to move it sideways, just because I want the middle of it to be roughly where the middle of this rail is. So it's coming in by 0.1. 0.11, I think that looks about central there. And then we can combine all of those bodies back together again. Happier with that, because at the moment, where it was, this was just sat to the side of the rail, and obviously the rail's got to sit in line with when it folds across. Okay, so now at this point I'm going to jump the history back to the end, because the rail that we're going to draw is going to sit on top of this on the other end of the wagon. So just skipping through the history back to where we were on the last episode. And it's come up with an error. Let's work out what that is. Okay, so looking at this error here, so if we go into edit rectangular pattern, you can see it's missing the axis direction, so just reselect that, which is the left-right position. The measurement should stay the same, just click on OK. And that's now fixed, that's just moving that across. For some reason it's lost the axis with the going backwards and forwards. What we will do is we'll define this height, define the height of that. It's going to have to be level with the top of the rail, isn't it? So what we can do is, if we come at that, we can use vertical horizontal constraint that point to that edge to that point, maybe. Do that. Nope. So we'll put that in there. So vertical constraint that point to that point. There we go. So that's going to define that height to be the same, because the rail's got to be the same height all the way along the train. Then we can bring this point in slightly, I think. And I'm going to define the angle between these two as 105 degrees. And we can put this little fillet in here just to round that edge off, doing a 0.2 fillet on there. And define the length or the height of that. Doesn't like that. Define that. There we go. So that's going to be 0.57. The next bit we'll draw is this bit on the end here. Now according to Paul's measurement, that's 4.5 inches long. So we draw a line from there outwards. We can specify that 4.5 inch by 1.8. That doesn't look right to me. I think that should be longer than that. But Paul's measured it, but it just doesn't look right to me. The height of the whole thing, let's draw a line down. It's just lagging a little bit. Draw a line down there. It should be 5.25 inches. 5.25. 8. Try again. 5.25 inch by 1.8. I reckon that's more like 4.5. Doesn't look right. Doesn't look right at all. I'm actually going to do it a little bit longer, I think. I'm going to go for 6.5. Okay, we'll draw a line down here. 0.4 millimeters out. So let's just define these. I'm going to do the same angle, so 105 degrees. Laptop's been a bit laggy today. That 0.58, so it matches the other side. We'll put a fillet on there of 0.2. And then that should draw that bracket similar to this. Just work out what that is. It's 0.47, so I'm just going to increase that to 0.47 so it matches the other side. Finish that. Select those two parts and extrude them. Now they're going to be the width of this bracket, which is 0.5 millimeters. It's going to want to be a new body initially because it's not actually connected to anything, but we'll connect that in a minute. Click on OK. So looking at the diagram, they've got two slots on each end. So for that, what we're going to do is we're going to cut out the top parts and then extrude that down, and then we'll put the pins coming down out of that. So it's going to draw on the top surface a small rectangle like this. And to find the width between the two edges, I'm going to go for 1.15. Length of it is 0.8 on that end. Do the same on the other end. Laptop's doing my nothing a little bit today, it's just really lagging. Then we will extrude these to the bottom of that face, do a cut, good, and then we'll create a circle on the top face. Now the pin I'm going to put slightly bigger. Let's go back to that extrusion. I'm just going to edit and drag that extrusion down just a little bit more, just to make sure it cuts. It's like a 0.5 just to cut all the way through. Sketch. And I'm going to draw a circle. I'm going to project on that circle on the bottom and draw the circle the same diameter, so 0.3 millimeters. Select the profile. Extrude. And come down into here and join so it's connected. That should connect up all of that together. Next thing I'm going to do is draw on these rivets. Draw a sketch on this front face. Use a circle tool. I'm going to do 0.3 millimeters. Define the position of that. Height 0.2. And distance from the edge, I'm going to go for 0.3. Extrude that, same as what we do normally, 0.15 millimeters. edge off. 5mm again, and it makes it a nice round bit. So now we've got that one, we're going to do a pattern to drag these across. So if we select features, make sure that they've only got one body, and we'll select the extrusion and the fillet. The axis will be along the line here, and we're going to need at least 8. And then what we're going to do is going to suppress that one and that one, because if you look at the picture, it's in a group of 1 missing, 4, and 1 missing, and 1 again. Do 8, we've got that suppression in there. So we come across 3.6, 8 in there, and suppress these 2. We've then got 2 smaller ones we can add in here. Again, create a sketch on that front face. Draw a circle. Let's go 0.2. Define the height and base, go 0.6. And the height from that corner, we'll go for 1. We're going to extrude that out by 0.1. And then fillet that off 0.1. So that smaller one, and then we can rectangular pattern again, extrusion, fillet, axis along. We need 2 of them. I'm just going to drag it along. That position there, so 2.2. And click on OK. And what we're going to do now is going to just fill it out some circles on this side here, just to give us that rebate. Come onto the top here. I'll create a sketch on the top surface. I'm going to start by just adding a point. That is going to project on that point there, and then coincidence that to that. That's it. So yeah, coincident at that point there, so they're in the same position. Take a circle, 0.2mm, and we draw one on the other side. Same, 0.2mm, vertically constrain that to that so it's locked into position, and then just select the 2 inside profiles there, and we're going to extrude it down to the bottom of this surface there. Do a cut. I'm just going to actually just go a tiny bit more, just to the bottom off, so 0.92mm, just to take the edge off there. The last thing we do is just draw this back bracket on here. So I'm going to draw a sketch on the top surface. Use the rectangle tool. And go 0.5 by 0.5. And we're going to find the distance from that point to there, 1.6mm. I'm going to extrude this one up to the same height as that point there, so 0.15. I'm going to let it become a new body, but we will go back in. A couple in there, we need to sort those out. we'll come back in and we'll, because I feel like this radar project, we'll join those together. So I'm going to create a sketch now on the side face there. So looking at the diagram, it doesn't go down far, so I'm only going to go down 0.4 millimeters, and then diagonal that, project the face, diagonal that backing, find the angle is 130 degrees, and extrude. That should be the height of this, so that's got to come up more. Extrude that top to that surface there. I'm probably going to make it wider as well. I'm not going to worry too much about that overhanging in there because I'm going to put a pin in there, it's going to join anyhow. And I'm going to draw a rectangle on the top here. Again, don't worry about the height of the top here. I'm going to vertically constrain that top to that point there. And then we'll define the width in here as 0.2, same as we did in the other one. 2. And extrude both of those to the buffer bit plate, and then it will cut. Draw. I'm not going to draw the hole because you won't see this because it's going to be folded over on this one. Draw on the top surface there. A circle that's going to be in the middle of that. 0.3 in diameter. Select those 3 profiles. Extrude that down. Take the join. Okay, so let's sort this out. What we're going to do is select combine, use body 1 there, and then we're going to select these 2 bodies. And combine those, they'll all come back into this one. It's just going to make it a little harder to find the sketches, but it's not going to be hopefully too much of a problem. Okay, so that's looking good there. I think I'm going to finish this video at this point. I think I'm pretty happy with how that's come out. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like the videos.